Hello and welcome. This is a full demo of the Centrex Software CRM platform in the finance industry. Let's go ahead and get started. So here at Centrex Software, we are definitely more known to be a full circle CRM ERP platform for the finance sector. We have CRM up front, anything that you would traditionally see in a customer relationship management platform. Down the middle, we have opportunity management, whether you're a broker, a funder, or a syndicator. And on the back end, we have full servicing, integration with ACH partners, a full syndication platform where you can pay out investors and syndication partners through the software. And then of course we have email marketing, text message marketing, all sorts of different types of reports, a full calendar system. And then of course you can manage multiple brands and multiple companies under one roof within Centrex Software. So like I said, definitely more of a 360 software platform. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we're going to go from left to right here with all the tabs. If we jump into Centrex Software and we come to the guidelines tab, the guidelines tab is really just an intranet for you and your team. So you can come in here and you can create categories of data, and then you can create content for those categories. Categories can be sales script, company policy documents, maybe dress code for your company, anything that you feel like you want your staff to see, that they can go to the guidelines tab and see anything about your company, anything about how to use the product or how to sell or how to represent your company, you can use in the guidelines tab. So again, more of an intranet for you and the company. In the contacts tab, this is where you're going to see the majority of the CRM software platform. Okay, this is where you're going to manage all of your contacts in the software. Now, in Centrex Software, we have contacts and then we have deals. Deals are essentially the opportunity to fund, broker, or syndicate a certain business owner out there in the United States. Okay, so you can have multiple deals per one contact, and we'll go over that here in just a second. So in the contacts tab, the first thing that we have here is customize workflow. So if you ever decide to join us, we're going to give you a workflow out of the box that we feel like works really well in the industry. Okay, once you decide to join us, the very first meeting we have with you is to go over this workflow to make any adjustments. So what we can do here is we can drag and drop statuses up and down. We can drag and drop entire stages up and down and all the statuses. And then if I were to click on a stage or status, we can edit this stage or status and then use restriction permissions on who can change the stage or status. Okay, we can color code these stages and status any color we want. And then like I said, we can click on any one of these and we can edit. If you want to add a stage or status, we come over here to the far right, we click on add new, and we can add a stage or status into the software. If you add a status, it's going to ask you what stage is this status a part of. Okay, and then of course, if I click on one of these, we can delete a stage or status as well. In Centrex Software, we have something called file types. So for the business finance industry, we have the business loan file type, which gives you dedicated business loan technology for any contact for that file type. But we have other file types like broker, like lead vendor, like equipment vendor, right? So if you have multiple types of contacts that you're trying to reach out to, we can entertain that within Centrex Software, where you have your own dedicated workflow, maybe for vendors. You have your own dedicated workflow for all your borrowers. Maybe you have a dedicated workflow for all your attorneys. So instead of having multiple tabs, one vendor, one business borrower, one attorney, everything's in the contacts tab, and we separate files and contacts and leads by file type so they can have their own workflow, their own documents, their own email templates, their own text message templates, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the customized workflow built into Centrex Software. What we also have here in Centrex Software when you decide to join us is something called custom fields. So if you decide to join us, you're going to send us over your applications and contracts. We're going to build them in the software, and we're going to take all the data points off those documents, and we're going to build them as custom fields in the software. And then you can always build custom fields yourself. So if I jump into the custom field section, you can see here's all the custom fields our setup team will have added within Centrex Software. And you can always come in here and add your own custom field, give that custom field some sort of answer option, and then you can give it a description if you wish to do so, and then click on save, and that custom field will be down here for you to look at. And then of course, if you've already built a custom field and you want to edit that custom field, you can click on the edit box over here and you can edit that custom field and then click on save. Once we've built all your custom fields, then we're going to build your intake form in the software so you can add a new contact into the software manually at any time. So if I come into the form builder here, you can create a form from scratch, or you can edit an existing form. So if I come in here to an existing intake form, you can see here are categories of data, and then you've got data points within those categories. So for this particular intake form, we've got business information, we've got campaign information, we've got contact information, we've got loan information and broker information, okay? For categories, I can come into form groups and I can edit those categories. Once I have these categories, I can come over here to add fields to form. I can find my custom fields, choose the category I want to add that custom field to, and click on add field. Once that field is in the software, I can drag and drop this field anywhere I want. I can click required to save, required to submit, and required for co-applicant, and I can give this a field label if I wish as well. So what your staff sees is not business ID. They'll see whatever you put in this field label. Okay, and then of course, every intake form has all sorts of settings. You've got default form for the company. Is this an intake form, yes or no? Is this an external form? And we'll go over external forms here a bit later. Do you want this form to show up in the customer portal? Do you want this to be an event dismissal form? And do you want to use single column layout? And then you've got the file type this intake form is associated with. If you add a new contact into the software using this intake form, how do you want the stage and status to be for that new contact once you add that contact? Who do you want this to be assigned to? And then you've got some default settings. Who do you want to share this with? So on and so forth. So if I build this intake form and I come back to the contacts tab, and I click on add a contact into the software, this is that intake form right here. And you can see you've got contact information and business information. And then I can toggle between other intake forms if I wish to do so. Okay, campaign information, contact information. I can click on save and exit or save and remain on this page. And then you've got the assignments over here on the right. Okay, so as far as custom fields and custom intake forms, we can edit them and create custom intake forms and custom fields at any time. And our setup team will do this for you on behalf of setup when you first come on board with Centrex Software. Okay, so that's workflow and that's custom fields. What we also have built into Centrex Software is something called data sources. So if you've got a website where you're driving traffic to your website and you have clients filling out forms or vendors or brokers or whoever it may be, or maybe you're buying leads from a lead vendor and you want that data to be posted into the Centrex Software platform at any time, what you can do is you can come in here and you can create a new custom field and a new data source for those custom fields. Okay, so if I come in here into the data source section and I name this data source is a web form data source. And once I create a web form data source, it's going to spit out a unique post URL so that you can send this to your lead provider or you can integrate it with your web forms, and then all the data will automatically come into the CRM. So if I edit an existing web form that we have here, let's say Centrex website, click on edit, you'll notice here's all the settings for this data source, and then here's that post URL I can give my IT team for my website or my lead vendor to post data in the software. And then for data sources, you've got some settings here. So what file type is this data source for? How do you want the stage and status to come in for data sources? Is it associated with a campaign? Do we want to run some dedupe? What's the dedupe action? And if we do flag as dupe, what status do you want to put that duplicate lead into? So if you're buying leads from some lead provider and they're sending you data, you can dedupe by email, for example, and you can come in here and flag as dupe, and then you can shove that lead into a duplicate status so that you can go ask for refunds for any duplicate leads you may have purchased from that lead provider. You've also got autoresponders both for email and for text messages built in the software. So if someone fills out your intake form on your website, the data automatically goes into the CRM. That customer is going to get an automatic email and an automatic text message saying whatever you want. These templates are fully customizable in the e-marketing tab. And then someone on your staff, if you want to automatically assign maybe round robin to people on your staff, they will also get an in-system pop-up notification, an email to their inbox, and a text message to their cell phone saying they have a new lead. Of course, you can automatically shove data into a dialer as well, and you can send other notifications that new leads have been imported into the software. Okay, so this is a web form data source. Another type of data source we have is an import data source. So if I come back to the contacts tab, I click on data sources to create a brand new data source. If I use the import function, we can upload a CSV file into the software of 20,000 records, 100,000 records, 5,000 records, whatever it may be. And then you can associate them with different users on your staff accordingly and automatically. Okay, so that's data sources built in the software. That's how we get data inside the software platform. What we also have is something called webhooks. This is how we get data out of the software into someone else's software. Okay, so someone else, they'll have to give you a post URL. You come in here and put in all the data points. Who do you want to share this webhook with? You can click on Save Webhook, and then we've got something called webhook triggers. So you can automatically post data from our software into somebody else's software automatically based on, let's say, a status change or a document being uploaded. Or we have execute webhook manually at the contact level if you wish to do so. Okay, so that is custom fields, workflow, data sources, and webhooks. What we also have built into Centrex Software is something called campaigns. So if you're buying lists of data on a regular basis, you can come in here and you can create some campaigns, and you can associate those campaigns with data sources, and you can always edit these campaigns as well. Okay, so if you want to be able to understand the conversion rates on some of the data you're buying, you can come in here and associate a campaign with an upload of a data source, go into the reports tab, and run some conversion reports on that particular data set. And was that data set a positive ROI, a negative ROI, or did you break even on that data set? Okay, so that's campaigns built within Centrex Software. What we also have at the contact level is something called list building. Now, the nice part about the list building in Centrex Software, it's fully dynamic. So depending on the filters you put on a particular list, every single time you look at that list, the data on that list could potentially be different. Again, we've got different types of filters you can use, some of those filters being time-sensitive filters. So for example, if I want to build a list of all my leads in the state of California that came in 3 days ago, I can build that list, and every single day I look at that list, the system's going to go back 3 days, look at California, and display data to you. Okay, so you don't have to be building lists on a regular basis. You can build a list strategy within Centrex Software, share that strategy with the entire staff, the entire company, so everyone's managing their data the same exact way. But the way you build your lists is so that certain reps can only see their own data versus other people's data, but everyone's looking technically at the same list. Okay, we have some amazing consulting packages here at Centrex Software where we build all of this out for you, so that you've got a nice data management strategy for your entire company. Okay, so all of your lists are going to stack down the page here in this drop down, so you can toggle between lists throughout the day. You can build lists based on status, time-sensitive filters, whatever you wish to do. You can hide lists from certain users, so on and so forth. So if I click on New List, I can name this list. Do I want this list from a setting perspective to show all contacts, no matter who it's assigned to, or my contacts? So again, the nice part about this is we can build a list that says all hot leads. I can share with the entire sales department, let's say that's 10 reps, and every single person is going to be able to see the hot lead list in the sales department. But if I drop this down to my contacts, each rep is only going to be able to see leads on that list if they're assigned to themselves and themselves only. They're not going to be able to see their associates' leads on that same list. So again, you don't have to build a list for each rep. You build one list, share it with the whole department, and drop this down to my contacts, and reps can't see each other's leads, even though they're all looking at the same list. This is how powerful the list building feature is within Centrex Software. And again, we've got some great consulting packages on building this out for you. Okay, and then you can add as many filters as you want. I mean, look how many filters we have built into Centrex Software, just tons for you to choose from. And then over here on the far right, you've got available fields to show. So we can come down to the bottom here. We can drag and drop the data points that you want to see from a list view perspective. Okay, then I can come up here and I click on Save List, and you'll notice here, here's this list, and then of course, there's all the data columns: created, full name, email, business name, work phone, so on and so forth, okay? And then you've got some quick filters here. If you want to not build a list and you just want to quickly run some queries on your database within Centrex Software, you can build some quick filters here, and it'll show you data, okay? Now, from the list view perspective, okay, so any list you pull up, from the list view perspective, there's some really cool quick actions you can take, so you don't actually have to go into the client dashboard all the way. One of those things you can do is you can click on the email icon here, and the email modal pops up. Okay, this is a full WYSIWYG editor. You can attach documents several different ways, and then you can send this email off to your customer. The email comes from your email address within the software, and we hook up your email servers with SMTP settings within Centrex Software so that they're coming off your email servers. Another thing you can do here from the list view is you can click on a phone number and you can manually track a phone call. Okay, so if you want to know productivity, you can manually track these calls. You can schedule follow-up calls, and when you schedule follow-up calls, these events will be on your calendar within Centrex Software. If you're using an integrated phone system with Centrex Software, these will be click-to-dial options. So there'll be a little icon here where you can click on it, and then it'll start ringing the client's phone number in your headset for your reps on the floor. Okay, so there's some automation here as well with a phone system integration. Over here on the far right, you've got some quick actions. We can change the stage and status of this contact on the fly. We can update the contact information for this client on the fly. We can add a note for this client on the fly. We can add a calendar event for this client on the fly, and then we can upload documents for this client on the fly. Okay, so these are just some quick actions that you can take here within Centrex Software from the list view. Now, if you ever want to do any mass editing within Centrex Software, you're going to pull up the list that you want to edit. So there's 1,000 contacts on this list. I can come over here and I can say with list, which means the entire list, so all 1,000 contacts, or I can choose with selected. And right now I've selected 0. But if I start choosing contacts over here, you'll notice in the top right, as I choose these contacts, now we've got 6 contacts chosen. So what I want to do though is I want to mass edit the entire list. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all these. And then over here, I'm going to choose with list, and I'm going to choose mass edit. I'm going to click on the green circle, and it allows me to choose and edit any data point, any custom field, a stage, a status, anything here in the software, and it'll say 1,000 contacts will be affected. I can click on perform mass edit, or if you want to mass delete all these contacts in the software, you can do that as well. Okay, so that's how you would mass delete or mass edit an entire list built into software. If you click on the contacts tab and you want a default list to show up every time, you've got this button over here that you can check and uncheck, and this will give you your default list. So every time you click on the contacts tab, this is the list that shows up. Okay. All right. So now let's go ahead and jump into a contact on the software. I've got some recently viewed here, which will show you all your recently viewed. You can also search a contact by several data points. I'm going to go ahead and click on Al's Laundry Service. This is kind of our dummy contact in the software. And this is what we call the client dashboard. So this is everything relative to the customer. On the far left over here, you've got the business name. You've got the first name and the last name of the business owner. If there's a co-applicant on file, you've got the business loan file type, the stage and status. And then if I click over here, I can see the entire history of the status changes for this contact. The green button allows me to update status. So I can choose the stage first. I can choose the status second. As I scroll down this page, you're going to see customer ID. You're going to see the assignments on file. You can always change the secondary assignment or the primary assignment on file. You've got social security numbers. Social security numbers can also be encrypted if you wish. Birthday, same concept for email. So I can click on the email icon again and that email box pops up. Same concept for phone numbers. If I click on one of these phone numbers, I can track a phone call, or the click to dial feature with an integrated phone system. I can click on the address of the client's address. It'll pop a Google map so you can see exactly where this customer is in the United States. What we also have built into Centrex Software is a full budget analysis tool. So I can click on budget analysis. I can come here and I can see the different types of monthly income, liquid assets, other assets, and monthly expenses built in for this particular contact. And I can save this budget analysis for this contact. So when I go back to the contact, it gives you some basic data points here on their cash flow. Down here at the bottom, we've got something called an external form request. If you want to gather data from a customer, they're not in front of their computer, they're at their kid's ball game, or they're at some event and they can't be in front of a computer, you can send an external form request. It'll send them an email. In the email, there's a link. And when they click on that link, it's a digital form associated to this contact. So you can ask anything you want, social security numbers, 50 questions, 10 questions, 100 questions. When the client's done filling that out, they press submit. All the data automatically comes back into the software, and it'll send you a notification the client has completed the external form request. Clients can also upload documents to an external form request. So if you're asking for 3 months bank statements or tax returns, that's an option as well. So this is a digital data gathering tool. It's not an e-sign document. It's not your actual application. It's just a way to gather data digitally in the software where it comes back automatically. The external form request is also fully mobile responsive, so your clients can use their cell phone, their iPad to fill those data points out. As we scroll down here, you've got any custom field data. In this gray box right here, all the data you see in this gray box is what we call standard fields within Centrex Software. You've also got custom fields. So we talked about that earlier. If we add any custom fields in the software, all that custom field data will show up here. And then down here in the bottom left, you've got our customer portal. Out of the box with Centrex Software, we give you this awesome white labeled customer portal your clients can log into. They can upload documents into the CRM from the customer portal. They can see any notes that you've taken. They can see all the documents they've electronically signed. If you're a funder and you're servicing through our software, they can see all their deals, advances, or loans on file, all the payments they've made. They can see statements. There's several different types of items they can see and do within that client portal, and that comes out of the box. So you can activate this client portal for the client. You can deactivate deactivate it, you can reset password, and it'll automatically send them an email with their password and username with your logo and your email address. Okay, if you decide to use the customer portal at Centrex Software, you can put a nice button on your website that says Client Portal Login, and that'll go to a white label domain name like portal.yourdomainname.com, and they can log in so it fully looks like it's your technology. So nice feature there. On the right-hand side for the contact, we've got several tabs here to track communication and all sorts of different items for this particular contact. The first tab is the history tab. Anything ever done in Centrex Software is always date and timestamp. That's for your protection so that you can always see what's happening with your users and what they're doing within Centrex Software. You've got the deals tab. We're going to look at that here in just a second. You've got all calls made to this particular customer as long as you're tracking the call, and you can always log a call here. You've got any emails sent to the client. When you send emails to the client in Centrex Software, it's going to give you a date and timestamp, the actual email you sent. And then if the client opens the email, you're going to see the date and time the client actually opened the email within Centrex Software. You've got the notes tab. You can categorize your notes any which way you want. If you categorize your note as a customer portal note and then you save note, this note will not only show up here, it'll also show up in the customer portal for the customer to see. You've got note templates. If you find yourself writing the same note over and over again, you've got templates here. You've got the note box, and then you can always notify other users within your account of this note being taken, and then you can also CC anyone on a note as well. You've got the save note. You can go ahead and click on search notes, and then you can search by category as well, and all your notes are going to stack down the page here. Date and timestamp, who took the note, the category of the note, and the actual note itself. Okay, so great note feature. In the e-marketing section, in the e-marketing tab, you have the ability to do blast email marketing out to your customer base any which way you want. Okay, in the e-marketing tab, it's going to show you how many times this particular contact was wrapped up in a campaign and then whether or not they opened that campaign. So this particular contact, we have a 100% open rate. This client was only caught up in one campaign. But if this client was caught up in, let's say, 10 campaigns, you're going to be able to come in here and see what campaigns they opened, what campaigns they did not open. We've also got the text messaging feature built into Centrex Software. You can do a two-way conversation with the customer all via text message. So if you write templates, you can build templates in the software. They'll automatically populate your template. You've got the phone numbers. This is a native integration with Twilio. You can see the customer's phone number over here. If it's a mobile or landline that accepts text messages, it'll be a green checkbox. If it doesn't, there'll be no phone number here at all. You can write your message, send message. It'll go directly to the customer's cell phone. When the customer responds back, it'll show up right here into Centrex Software as well as a return text message. So you can see the text messages back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is really quite nice. In the docs section, we've got three different sections here. You've got generated PDFs, you've got e-signed documents, and you've got uploaded files. Okay, for generated PDFs, you can come in here and see any generated PDF you want. You can download or trash. For e-signed documents, you can come in here and see all the documents you've sent out for electronic signature. Centrex Software has its own proprietary e-sign platform built into Centrex Software. We own it. We built it from the ground up. Okay, so it's fully integrated into Centrex Software. You can see here when you send docs out for e-sign, there's statuses like sent. You've got statuses like document open. You've got statuses like pending. You've got statuses like delivered. Once the e-sign doc has been completed, it'll say completed. You can come in here and you can view the IP address of the sender, you can view the IP address of the signer, and then you can view this document. And when you view this document, it'll show you the PDF. If you scroll down for this e-sign document, you'll see here this really nice looking e-sign. And then on the last page, you're going to see the ClickSign digital certificate. Our e-sign platform is called ClickSign. And again, it's our proprietary technology that we built into Centrex Software. It's been battle tested, stood up in court many times. We've had it for many, many years. Never been a problem. Okay, so great e-sign tech built into the software, so you can send as many e-signs as you want for your price. Any uploaded files, you can always drag and drop documents into the CRM, and you can always upload manually into the software as well. If you want to send a document out for electronic signature, I can click on Generate PDF here in the top right. I can choose the document that I want to generate a PDF, and those docs are going to be in the Docs tab. I can choose to send for ClickSign. I can click on Generate PDF, and this will send this document out to the customer for electronic signature. Okay, so that's the doc section, great document management platform built into Centrex Software. We have the events tab, so we have a full calendaring system built in the software so you can schedule events for your clients. We also have a full task manager built into Centrex Software. Okay, so if you want to come in here and click on new task, you can build a new task into Centrex Software. You can do freeform entry, or if you don't want to do freeform entry, you've got task items that are built in the software. You can assign this task to a user, to a team, or to the client. So if you have a task for the client, like send in documents or pay down credit card to a certain utilization rate, you can do so, save task, and that task will be here right here. And then users can come in here and complete tasks, so on and so forth. And there's an entire task settings section for you to build out all your task settings. You've got credit card information for credit card charges, and you've got bank account information for ACH drafts. Okay, you can always edit a contact by clicking on edit contact right here. And you can come in here and you can edit this contact anytime you want. Click on save and exit. And that is how you edit the contact in the software. And then of course I can always come back in here to Al's Laundry Service and I can see all the data points on file. Okay, so this is the client dashboard built into Centrex Software. Now, if we jump back into the deals section here, you're going to be able to see all the deals on file for Al's Laundry Service. If you have brokered or funded or syndicated on Al's Laundry Service, let's say multiple times, they got an advance or a loan from you today, 6 months from now, another one, maybe a year and a half from now, another one, you're going to be able to track all your deals on file for Al's Laundry Service for this contact. Okay, so we've got contacts and we've got deals. The contacts tab is going to manage all the contacts in the software. The deals tab is going to manage all your deals in the software with a customized pipeline here. Okay, so if I go back to contacts and I come into Al's Laundry Service and I click into deals, here's all the deals on file. If I want to create a new deal, I can click on new deal, or if I want to edit an existing deal, I can go ahead and jump into this particular deal here. And this is the deal opportunity page. Okay, so the first thing you're going to see here at the top is this is Al's Laundry Service. I can always click on Al's Laundry Service and go back to the contact. Okay, come back into deals, and then I can jump back into this deal. Okay, we've got deal ID and we've also got contact ID. If you decide to join us and you work with our support team for whatever reason it may be, always reference these IDs. It'll help them service you in a much, much quicker and more efficient way. We've got some contact information here at the top for this merchant. And then for you funders out there, we've got some statistics here on the performance of this particular deal if you're servicing through our software. So you've got account balance, you've got RTR balance, you've got payments made, percentage RTR paid, percentage of term, number of returns or NSFs, last payment, and then you've also got pacing. Okay, if you're a broker and you're brokering this deal, the account balance and RTR balance will be whatever the funded amount is, but they'll never change as you're not servicing through our software. If you're servicing through our software, all these data points will change as debits start clearing the software and clearing the bank as a servicer and a funder within Centrex Software. As we scroll down, we've got deal assignments. So just like you can assign staff members to a contact, you can also assign certain companies and certain staff members to the deal as well. So we've got sales, broker, underwriter, and funder. So sales will be whoever's the sales rep on file. The broker is whoever's brokering this deal. If it's an external broker that sent you the file, you'll choose them. If it's you, the broker, and you're brokering this file, you choose yourself. Who is the underwriter for you funders out there? Who's the underwriter underwriting the file? And then if you're a broker and you're brokering this deal to a funder, who funded the deal? If you're a funder and you're going to fund this deal yourself, you're going to choose yourself. And the funder come from the lenders tab, which we'll jump into here in just a second. Below that, we have the merchant cash advance pricer. This is a merchant cash advance deal. You've also got other deals like commercial mortgages, equipment financing, SBA loans, where you have more of an amortization calculator. So this is a merchant cash advance deal. We've got advance type. Is it new, add-on, or renewal? Is this a credit card program or an ACH program? If this is a credit card program, you're going to have a holdback. We call it a remit. So we're holding back, in this particular case, 20% of the daily receivables for this particular merchant. If it's an ACH deal, it's just going to be an automatic draft daily, weekly, or monthly, and this is going to be zero. So you'll put nothing in here for an ACH deal. You've got the advance amount. You've got the repayment term for days, weeks, or months. You've got the buy and sell factor rate. So for those of you who get a buy rate, you can put your buy rate, whatever the retail rate is to the merchant, you can put in your retail rate. You've got the payback amount, and then you've got the daily payment. This daily payment will automatically calculate once you put in an advance amount, and a term and a factor rate. So payback amount will automatically calculate, and so will payment. You've also got lien position. So what lien position is this? And then you've also got some program options here. The program options are fully customizable to you. So if you've got different types of programs and you call them a certain name, or there's jargon that you use, whether it's silver, bronze, whatever it may be, you can choose this particular program. As I scroll down here, you've got other advances with this merchant. So if you've got multiple advances on file, it'll just happen to show you the other advances you particularly have on file for this merchant. And then because we're in the application section here of all these tabs, down here at the bottom, you're going to see the application. This is the intake form you have in the contacts tab. It's the same thing, right? Business information, campaign information, contact information, loan information, broker information. You can make edits here if you wish to do so, and then click on Save File on the top right. Okay, so on the far left, we've also got custom data. So we can add any custom fields to the advance that we wish. We've got financial information that you can add for the client on file. You've got documents. It is important, once you have an advance on file, to always create and manage documents on this page so it's associated with this deal opportunity. Okay, so you can generate PDF and send out for e-sign right here. You can zip up documents if you're dealing with a lot of documents and you can't email them traditionally. And then you can also upload files, and of course you can always drag and drop files. So you've got all your documents here, and then you've got all your e-sign docs at the bottom. We've got conditions built in the software. So you can come in here and you can say, I can approve a condition, a decline a condition, and I can trash this condition. Underwriters will see date and timestamps if they've denied or approved a condition. You can pull credit in the software from a company called Universal Credit Services. You can pull decision logic reports, which is bank statement validation reports, and you can also refresh those reports within Centrex Software as well. For you brokers out there, you've got broker submission, lender submission. Okay, so what you can do is you can package up a deal and send it to multiple lenders at the same time with one click of a button. So if I'm a broker and I want to shop this deal out, I can click on New Submission. I can choose all the documents I want to package up in this submission. I can choose all the lending institutions I want to send these submission to. It'll populate your contact on file at those lending institutions. I can write my email, and then I can submit package. If you're submitting for the second and third time for this particular deal, you can click on resubmission for reporting reasons, so we know if it was a resubmission or a new submission. Once you click on submit package, I can scroll to the top here and I can click on view submissions, and you can see all the submissions you've done. Date and timestamp, the docs that you sent, the emails you sent them to. I can come in and take notes for each submission, maybe once I start getting offers from these lenders, and then I can status out each submission as well. And once I'm done submitting for several days, weeks, or months in a row, I can jump into the reports tab and I can run some advance or loan submission reports. So I can see submissions by lender, by user, by company, so on and so forth. Okay, so great tool here to shop a deal out to multiple lenders with one click of a button. We've got some underwriting notes. I can come in here and just take some basic notes from an underwriter's perspective. We have a full syndication platform built into the software. Okay, so what you have the ability to do as a funder, especially if you're servicing the file and you've got participants on file, you can come in here and choose the companies that are going to be participating, choose the amount they're going to be participating, and then it'll spit out the percentage. You've got a servicing fee based on the advance amount, payback RTR, and per payment. Okay, so you can actually track who's participating on your deals. If you're a funder and you're servicing in our software, as payments start clearing the bank, our system will then automatically pay out the syndication partner via ACH credit with your ACH processor minus servicing fees. So our system will send out the net, not the gross. So you don't have to do it manually outside the software, okay? And then syndication partners have a full syndication portal they can log into, see all the deals they participated on, drill into that deal. They can see all the debits for that deal and their associated credits. And then syndication partners also will get a daily email for their remittances. Another nice part about Centrex Software is we batch out syndication credits. Okay, so if you've got a syndication partner participating on multiple deals and all those deals are daily repayment, instead of sending that syndication partner, let's say 20 credits in one day, we're going to batch it up and just send them one credit for those 20 deals. Okay, so really nice syndication platform built into Centrex Software. You've got commission tracking. If you've got a syndication partner on file and you put in some commissions here, the system will automatically calculate the commission split. So whatever the syndication partner was responsible for, it'll automatically calculate that commission split. Okay, for you funders out there, you've got funding information, so routing number, account type, name on account, ACH provider you're using. You've got some fee options, and then you've got funding details down here at the bottom. Once you put this particular deal into the in repayment status, which is the final funded completed status in our software, the payments tab will show up. This payments tab will not be here until this file goes to in repayment. So once it does, we can click on the payments tab, and you'll notice here the first thing we see is the ability to turn auto ACH drafting on. Okay, so we can turn auto ACH drafting on. From this day moving forward, our system will now read this calculator. So for this particular example, this merchant will be drafted $418.33 every single day for 150 days. Okay, and that's business days minus weekends and holidays. Okay, once auto ACH drafting is on, it's going to communicate with the ACH processor. It's going to start debiting the client, and you're going to see those transactions come into the software right here. So date and timestamp, you can always click on this transaction and see what happened, what's the ID with your ACH processor. You can also show filters on this report. So if I click on show filters, let's say I want all my NSFs to show up red, all my debits to be blue, all my cleared maybe ACH credits to be green. You can come in here and make different adjustments on how you want to see your transactions for this particular merchant. You can always add a payment on the fly, and depending on the type, it's either going to be account adjustment, which will not produce a syndicate split, or you can do an actual debit, which will produce a syndicate split. So there's ways to add fees, there's ways to adjust the balance, there's ways to add debits, and whether or not it affects the account balance or the RTR, it depends on the type and subtype when you add that payment. What we also have built into Centrex software is an override calculator. Okay, so in the industry, whether it's a loan or an advance, you may have a merchant that has a seasonal business, or maybe they just need some relief for a few weeks or a few months. So what you can do for this particular example, $418.33 a day, the merchant or borrower calls you and says, I can only afford $100 a day for the next 2 months. Okay, if you agree to that, you can come in here to override payment, put in $100. You can come in and put in the date it goes out to. So let's say 3 weeks out in the calculator for this particular calendar date. You can choose the frequency and the interval if it's going to be different than the original calculator. And when you click on save file, the override calculator will override this initial calculator, start charging that client $100 a day. Once it reaches the date, the maturity date of the override, it'll automatically go back to this particular calculator here automatically and start drafting the client. Okay, if you have a return from a client, there's a certain R codes we have in the software with ACH processors where if the client does a chargeback, our system will automatically turn off auto ACH drafting to give you time to work with that merchant to understand why they manually returned that payment, and then you can come in here and turn this back on manually if you wish to do so. But there are certain R codes where we will automatically pause ACH drafting, not to threaten your ACH processing account to get shut down. Okay, so those are some features built within Centrex software for the deal tab. On the far right, you've got some quick tools. You can email the merchant. You can track a phone call for the merchant. You can add a calendar event for this merchant. You can also add a task for this merchant if you wish to do so. This will always be the advanced status here. This will be the contact status. You can take notes. You can notify users on the note. You can categorize your note, see all your notes stacked down the page here. You've also got the status history here of the advance, and then you've also got the system log. So we always know what's happening all the time, date and timestamp, on who's touching this file, who's clicking on what, and what's happening to this particular advance or this particular deal. Okay, so this is the deal opportunity page. Again, I can come back to Al's Laundry Service and I can see the contact. I can jump back into deals. I can go into the deal this way, or I can jump into the deals tab and I can see my deals this way. So now that we're here in the deals tab, let's go ahead and look at the deals tab and the functionality within it. So again, this is going to track all your deals in the software. One of the things that we have built in the software is deal settings. So if you decide to join us, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at your deal settings. So you've got advanced statuses. We're going to build those out. Then we're going to map your advanced statuses to your contact statuses. So you have contacts in the software, they have statuses. You've got deals in the software, they have statuses. We map them together so that when you change the status of the advance, the status of the contact will change with it. Okay, we've got custom pipeline management. So if I come to the deals tab here, you're going to see this is your pipeline. Okay, and we can build out a custom pipeline depending on how you want to see it. So if I come back into settings and I look at pipeline management, I can build my pipeline manually and what deal statuses do I want to see in those pipelines. I've got role and user access. Once I've built out my pipeline, who has access to what pipelines. I can automatically assign deals once they're created to underwriters or brokers or sales reps. So if there's some larger teams out there that need some automated assignment to underwriters, we can do so here. We've got your workflow for deals. So when the deal's in a certain status, what status comes next? And we build that out for you. We've got rules and permissions. When do you want to lock pricing? What is the funded completed status? And do you want to use contact permissions? The contact permissions means if you don't have access to see a contact, then you're not going to have access to see the deal either, right? We can say no here. The user won't be able to see the contact, but they'll be able to see the deal. You've got submission technology. So for you brokers out there, when you do submissions, what email address or what user do you want the submission coming from? You've got some payment options here for you funders. So do we want to schedule ACH drafts on federal holidays? If so, when do you want it to happen for the double dip for the next day? RTR balance. Do you want pending transactions to show up on your balance, yes or no? What subtypes do we want to create in the software to affect RTR balance? And then you've got some automated NSF settings here as well to automatically charge fee based on returned debits. We've got some syndication settings here. When do you want to pay syndicators out? What is the subtype for payout? Do you want to auto clear syndicate payments? Yes or no? That means do you want to pay out syndication partners out of the software or automatically within the software? And then what gateway are you going to use for those ACH credits? We've got mappings here for documents and data. We've got some automatic conditions that can always be created every single time you create a new deal opportunity. And then you've got those loan programs here we talked about, where if you want to categorize a deal for a certain program, you can do so here. Okay, so that's in the deals tab and that's deal settings. Again, we go over that all with you the day you come on board with Centrex Software. And then here's your deals tab. So I can come in here and I can say, I've got 2 deals in document collection. I can click on that pipeline. I can see those deals and I can drill into that particular deal. Same goes for paid in full or in repayment. Again, this is another nice way to be able to jump into that deal right from this tab. Okay, you've got some nice syndicate reports over here on the far right. This is exactly what your syndication partners are going to see when they log in, minus all the tabs. So it's going to look just like this. They can see all the different data points, and then your syndication partners are going to be able to drill in to a particular deal they participated on and see all the debits, their associated credits, and a lot of the different data points on file for this particular deal. Okay, so again, you've got contacts and you've got deals in the software. Those are 2 different things, and you can manage them accordingly. We have a lenders tab built into Centrex Software. So for those brokers out there that are submitting to multiple lenders, you've got multiple relationship with lenders, you can come in here, you can click on add lender in the software. It's going to give you some basic data points. Once you've added that lender, they're going to show up down here at the bottom. And then you can always come into this lender and you can see as you start associating lenders with a particular deal, you're going to be able to see how much you funded with that lender. You're going to be able to see all the deals or advances on file with this lender. And then for you brokers out there that are doing submissions, you need to add the contacts at that lender so that you can do a submission to that contact. Okay, and then you always want to activate these lenders here in the top right as well. We've got lender matchmaking built in the software where we can build out criteria for this lender. So when you go do a submission, we're going to recommend which lenders to send to. Okay, so this is the lenders tab. If you're a funder within Centrex Software, you're going to come in here and you're going to add yourself as a lender so that you can say at the deal opportunity level, hey, I'm a funder and I'm the one that funded this deal, so you can run those reports accordingly. Okay, so the lenders tab is a great piece of functionality built in the software. We've also got the calendar tab built into Centrex Software, so we can come in here and we can build out different calendars. You can schedule a calendar event. You can say who it's going to go for, who is the calendar event assigned to, and you can build out calendars in Centrex Software. You've got event types. You've got availability scheduling built in the software, so you can see other users' availability on their calendar. You've also got a full task manager built in the software. So if I come into task here on the bottom left, I can set up my task settings. I can see all the different types of task settings built built into Centrex Software. I can save those task settings. I can come back to tasks. I can then set up task items. So I can do groups of tasks. Once I build my groups, I can come over here and I can build my actual items. What file type do I want to associate it with? What group? Click on Save Task, and then all your task items will be here. Okay, so if I go back to the contact and I click on New Task, you've got that drop down of all your tasks or your free-form entry. Okay, you've also got task triggers built in the software. So if I want a task to automatically be created and then automatically assigned to someone on my staff, you can do so. All the different system events are built right here within Centrex Software. Okay, so that's the calendar tab for you to view within Centrex Software. Everyone can have their own calendar. In the accounting tab within Centrex Software, if you are a funder, you're going to be able to build all sorts of different types of accounting reports. And the accounting reports is just like list building. It's fully dynamic. Okay, so if you've got a time-sensitive filter on an accounting report, every single time you run that report, it's going to run that filter and display data to you. So if I want to see all my debits cleared this week, every single time you run that report, it's going to look at total cleared debits in the week you're currently in and give you numbers. Okay, so you can build out several different types of accounting reports. Click on those accounting reports anytime you want to look at data. I can always customize an accounting report to give it filters. Okay, so anytime I build an accounting report, you're going to be able to give it all the filters you want. Click on Save Report, and then it's going to give you numbers. Once you've built a report and you've got some numbers here, one of the things that we can do in the top right is we can enable grouping. So if I click on Enable Grouping, I can now choose one of these data columns here to group by. So if I group by name, I click on this data column, it's going to group by name, first and last name, and then give you aggregates. Okay, so you can see here the names have been grouped, the amounts have been grouped, and then it gives you aggregates for that grouping. Okay, so as an accountant, or if you've got an external accounting firm, they can come in here and build all sorts of different types of reports within Centrex Software. If you're doing ACH processing directly with a brick and mortar bank, we've got Notcha File Export. So instead of using an integrated ACH partner, you can use Notcha File. We don't totally recommend it only because it's a manual process and it leaves room for human error, but we do support that if that's something you guys want to use. You guys can email reports, analyze reports, export to CSV, and then of course you can always customize these accounting reports as well. We have a docs tab built into Centrex Software where we're going to build your docs so they can be generated as PDFs, pre-populated with data, and sent out for electronic signature. Okay, so if we were to look at some example documents here for On Deck Capital, you can see here we drag and drop the data points, custom fields over this document so the system knows where to populate data on the document. Okay, and we build these out for you. You can also build them yourself. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's definitely doable. Okay, so any document you can have here, we've got categories of documents. You've also got document types so that we can categorize documents within Centrex Software. Okay, we do this again on behalf of setup so that you can send docs out for e-sign right away, right within the Centrex Software platform. Okay, the Files tab is simply flat file storage. So if you've got images, company logos, maybe a flyer that you want to attach to emails to your clients, you can come in here and upload files into the CRM. If you've got images in an HTML email, you've got a really nicely designed email with images, you're going to come in here and upload those images so the URL path is right within your email marketing templates. So it's not being held somewhere else. It's all right here for you. Okay, so this is all flat file storage. If I jump into the e-marketing tab, we have a complete email blaster built into Centrex Software. Okay, so if you want to email blast on a one-off basis, a reoccurring basis, you have the ability to do so. Okay, so what I can do first is I can create email template. So I can come in here and create any email template I want. I can give it a template title, an email subject. I can categorize this template. I can share this template with teams or individual users. I can add an attachment to a template, which would come from the Files tab. And then I've got document tags built in the software as well. So you can come in here and build out any HTML plain text template you want into the software and click on Save Design. Okay, once you've built out all your designs, and I'll give you a nice example here of what a really good looking design looks like. So here's an HTML template we use here at Centrex Software. So you can see here, this is a really nicely designed template, right? Just as an example. Okay, and we can use document tags in this template as well to populate data. Okay, so once I've designed everything, I can come in here and I can set up my senders. So if you're going to be doing email blasting, what email address are you going to be using to blast out? Okay, so you can name this sender. You can hook up your SMTP settings with your third-party server. So whether you're using Amazon SMTP, a SendGrid, maybe an smtp.com, whatever email server you're going to be using to actually do the blasting, our system does all the designing, all the scheduling, but that third-party server you can hook up right here with SMTP settings, and you can always edit an existing sender on file and then save that sender. Once you've created your templates, once you've created your sender, we can now schedule a campaign for launch. So we can come in here. What's the campaign title? Is this an active campaign? Is it a single blast or a reoccurring blast? If it's reoccurring, how often does it happen? What's the start date? What's the start time? What list do we want to send this email blast to? We create lists in the contacts tab as expressed earlier. What template do we want to use? What sender do we want to use? And then what page do we want to send clients to if they unsubscribe from your email? Okay, and then of course you've got some settings here on notifying certain individuals when emails have been sent or open. And then we can schedule this launch. Okay, once we've scheduled a launch, it's going to show up over here under upcoming. Okay, so this may stack down the page if you have all sorts of different templates active. I can always drill in to a particular campaign and edit that campaign, activate or deactivate that campaign if I wish to do so. Once an email blast has been sent, under recently sent, it'll display, and you can drill into each one of these, or you can click on view all sent. It'll take you to a splash page of all the campaigns you've sent. You've got some basic statistics here, but we can also drill into a particular campaign and we can actually see details of this campaign and what was happened and what didn't happen. So if we go back to view all sent, we can find with a tiny bit more data here, we can drill into this test and we can see the different statistics for this particular email campaign. Okay. The nice part about Centrex Software is we've got drip email marketing built in the software as well. So if you want to be able to automatically follow up with your clients coming from the assigned to rep on file within Centrex Software, you can build that in Centrex Software. So for example, you've got day 3, day 5, day 7, day 10, day 15, so on and so forth. We offer some awesome Centrex Software consulting packages on drip email marketing. We've seen a lot of failure and a lot of success over the years, and we've implemented consulting packages based on the success that we've seen. So we've got some great strategies where we can build all the content, all the campaigns, all the lists, activate it all for you, all on your behalf, so you can run your business. Okay, so keep us posted if that's something you're interested in. So this is the email marketing tab, either one-off blasts or reoccurring blasts. Text message marketing is the exact same concept as email marketing. So down here, I've got manage my numbers. This is a native integration with Twilio. So you can come in here and you can buy phone numbers and import phone numbers and share those phone numbers with users in Centrex Software. Once you've purchased and integrated your phone number, you can come in here and you can manage templates. I can create a new template. Very easy to do so. I can activate this template and then I can come in here and I can click on my campaigns and I can create a new campaign and I can blast this campaign out. I choose the list, I choose the template, I choose the phone number, I schedule the campaign and I can blast that campaign. And then under the reports tab, we've got text message reports. Okay, so the text message feature is very similar to the email marketing feature for Centrex Software. In the reports tab, you have several different types of reports you guys can look at. Some are for productivity, some are for users, some are understanding where your portfolio sits, so on and so forth. Our most popular report is our customized report builder. So if I come into the report builder, this is an object-based custom report builder, which is essentially a glorified Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so you can come in here and build out all sorts of different types of reports. I can click on the graphic here. I can see charts in multiple different ways. So if I want to see my data in a pie chart, if I want to see it in a line graph, if I want to see it in scatter, maybe a bar chart, you can come in here and do all sorts of different types of reporting with Centrex Software. We work with an external consultant called Nason Consulting. The gentleman's name is Keith Nason. He's an absolute wizard in the industry, tons of knowledge. He evangelized this report builder with our owners and our software developers. We do a lot of consulting with him. If you are a funder and you'd like to use Centrex Software, we always recommend speaking with Nason Consulting. They know our system very well, and it really helps with portfolio performance reporting, pacing and tracking if you're trying to apply for a warehouse line or for investment, he knows how to produce all the documents. If you're a broker trying to be a funder, he's great at building risk models. So Nason Consulting is an amazing organization we work with a lot. We highly recommend working with him if you're a funder within Centrex Software. Okay, so lots of different reports. Another example of a report you can look at is our status report. It gives you the ability to choose different file types, choose different companies, click on filter, and then you can see where your overall portfolio sits as far as it relates to your custom workflow, your stages and statuses. Okay, lots of different reports built in the software. You've got submissions for brokers that are submitting to lenders, so on and so forth. Okay, so a lot of great reports. In the admin tab, you're going to have all the administrative functions built into Centrex Software. So the nice part about our software is you can add companies, brokers, syndicators, investors. You can add users on the fly. You don't need to call us to add all this stuff, okay? So one of the things you have here is something called roles. So before you add users, you can come in here and build out custom roles. So I can come in here and call this a sales role or an underwriter role or a super admin role, and then I can choose all the permissions for this particular role. Okay, and then once you've saved all your roles will be over here for you to view. So if I click on sales, click on edit, you can see the sales role here and all the permissions for sales. So this is the first level deep that we go here at Centrex Software, what you can and cannot do. The second layer of permissions is something called field level permissions. So if I click on field level permissions, I can create a new profile, or if I have an existing profile, I can click on that profile. I can associate that profile with a role. So for this particular example, I've created the sales profile. I've associated the sales profile with the sales role. And this is what we call data suppression. So if I don't want this profile or role to see certain data points, like maybe date of birth or maybe social security numbers, every single custom field and standard field is right here for you to suppress from this particular profile and this particular role. Okay, so we get very granular with data security. We understand data security is a very important thing in the industry, and we can suppress data from certain roles, and you can have as many profiles and many roles as you wish within Centrex Software. Okay, so if I jump back into the admin tab, that is roles. What we can also build in software is teams. So just like data suppression, where you create profiles, we're going to create a team, let's say called the sales team, and then we're going to associate the sales team with the sales role, if we wish to do so. Okay, we can also build teams and associate them with companies, build teams and associate them with certain users. So for an example, if I jump back into the e-marketing tab here, and I want to build and template, I can share this template, as you can see here, with teams or with individual users. Okay, so we can build roles 2 levels deep, what you can and cannot do, and then what you can and cannot see, data suppression, and then we can build teams in the software as well. Once you've built your roles and you built your teams, you can then add a user in the software. I can click on add user. I can give them username, password, confirm password, associate them with the company, and then once you click on save, the user will look just like this. We can give them passwords. We can put in some information on first name, last name, their email address. We can hook up their SMTP settings with your server. And then we've got shared data user down here at the bottom. If you want to give them permission to see different types of data in the software, no matter who it's assigned to, you have the ability to do so. Okay, we can always suspend a user. We can always log in as that user, or we can always delete user as well in the software. Okay. What we also have built into the admin tab is companies. So what's very common in the industry is for brokers to have outside brokers, or funders to have outside brokers sending you files in the software. So we have a broker portal built into Centrex Software. We have a syndication portal built into Centrex Software, and we have a client portal built into Centrex Software. Okay, the client portal is its own user interface outside the CRM, but the broker portal and the syndicate portal is essentially access to the software with very limited permissions to do and see certain things. So if I want to add those types of organizations into the software, I click on companies. I can click on add company, and it'll ask me to build out this particular company. Once I've added the company in the software, I can go ahead and drill into this company. I can see all the data points, all the users associated with this company. We even have sub-company and sub-users, right? But what we also have is a button here called payees. So if you're going to add a company in the software and that company happens to be a syndication partner and you want to pay out that syndication partner directly through the software, you can come in here and create a payee for this company, this syndication partner. So as debits start clearing the software, an ACH credit will automatically be initiated and pay out that syndication partner. Okay, so a lot of great features here as far as companies. What's also common in the industry is for an owner to own a funding company and a brokerage firm, two different logos, two different teams. You can run both teams under one Centrex Software account. Saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of money, and you can come in here and do that. Okay, very nice feature built into Centrex Software. What we also have here is our system log. If you come into our system log, it's anything ever done system-wide. Okay, so this is for your security. If you feel like maybe someone on your staff is stealing from you or logging in when they shouldn't be logging in, whatever it may be, you can come into the system log. You can see exactly what's happening every single day. Okay, you've got our integrated partners. If you go to centrexsoftware.com, you're going to see all sorts of different types of integrated partners that we work with on some of the things that we don't do. ACH processors, phone systems, credit report companies, so on and so forth. What we also have built into Centrex Software is our settings tab. Lots of different settings built into Centrex Software. You've got your customer portal settings so that you can tell the portal what you want your clients to see and not see built into Centrex Software. In settings, we also have email triggers. You can build all sorts of different types of email triggers built in the software based on all types of system events. We have some great consulting packages where we do a lot of this for you based on best practices. What we also have is in settings is we have state setup. For the business finance industry, we don't really have a lot of state regulations. We have some, but for some of the other industries that we serve in consumer finance, you've got some state regulations, so you can build out state settings. You've got call settings. If you're doing a phone system integration, you can come in here and build out some of those call settings. Also in the settings tab, we have note templates. This is where you build your note templates. So when you take notes, you can drop down those templates. You've got your ClickSign settings. So the ClickSign setting, this is our proprietary e-sign platform built into Centrex Software. You can come in here and build out your settings as far as the messages that are sent to the merchant or the client when a document has been sent to them for e-sign, and then also when a document has been completed for e-sign as well. And then who do you want to have access to these ClickSign documents? Also in the settings tab, under the admin, you've got different types of settings for integrated partners. So if you do have an integration with a phone system, you can come in here and build out some of those settings. We've got full sales scripts built into Centrex Software, so you can come in here and you can build different types of sales scripts. It'll pop a modal in the contact and you can build out scripts. You can even type in data points into those scripts, which is really quite nice. Also in the settings tab, you've got SMS and SMS triggers. Okay, so just like email triggers, we've got text message triggers as well, which is quite nice. You can build out all sorts of different types of text message triggers based on all sorts of system events built into Centrex Software. And then last but not least, you've got the My Settings here at the top. Every single user will be able to jump into the My Settings section, enable text message notifications, build their signature, put in their SMTP settings so that when they send emails, it's coming off their email server from Centrex Software. So as you can see here, much depth. We go very wide, we go very deep as far as running your business all under one roof as a finance company here at Centrex Software. This has been a Centrex Software full demo. We look forward to chatting with you soon.